Okay, so we have one more speaker before our break. So we have Zro. Zro is a child of the Pacific. They are a land steward, builder, and problem solver living in the greater San Diego area on ancestral Kumai and Payom-Kawicham lands, where they work on various projects to heal the soil, waterways, and people. Zro serves as a regional coordinator for CACC, which I don't know what that stands for, but they will tell you, Community Composting for Green Spaces program, which is funded by CalRecycle and California Climate Investments. Welcome, Zro.
Cool. What's going on? I know we've all been sitting down for some time now. Maybe we could do a quick collective wiggle together. All right, beautiful faces, beautiful bodies. Thank you. Yes, my name is Ro. I accept all pronouns. I started working with the California Alliance for Community Composting, or CAC, last year as a co-coordinator for the Community Composting for Green Spaces, or CCGS program in the Greater San Diego region. CAC's leadership team worked in collaboration with the People, Food, and Land Foundation to prepare and submit the winning application for implementing CCGS, which is the first ever opportunity of its kind that supports goals at the intersection of social and environmental justice in an effort to meet SB 1383 targets. And today I'll go over our program progress to date. CAC is a nonprofit public benefit organization that was founded in 2017 and is currently made up of about 15 regularly participating organizations who work together to strengthen, protect, and develop community composting projects across the state, empowering composters alongside the communities that they serve. And CCGS regional coordinators are working with 100 groups throughout the state in vastly different types of communities to store local resource recovery work in places like urban cities, rural countrysides, and on tribal lands. And we've organized our team's program engagement into 6 regions. So Sacramento in Northern California, the Bay Area, Fresno in Central California, the Inland Empire, the Greater Los Angeles area, and the Greater San Diego area. So CalRecycle's goal is to support basic market development for community-based and small-scale composting projects and to ensure long-term sustainability and viability of such operations so that they can continue to offer place-based jobs and keep making healthy soil. And ultimately, this program will help California better quantify the capacity community-based infrastructure and programs could have for meeting SB 1383 targets. The outcome of this program will help CalRecycle better identify the most effective and affordable models to scale for community composting operations. Though diversion targets are just one part of the picture, CalRecycle was really inspired by CAC's commitment to supporting the transformation of unhealthy and unjust systems by uplifting organizational cultures of trust. And we've designed our programs to specifically address equity and inclusion by prioritizing the selection of projects from historically underserved groups, low-income groups, groups at the startup stages of business development, and especially marginalized groups such as Black and Indigenous people of color, migrants, refugees, LGBTQIA+ and trans and non-binary folks, folks with disabilities, and folks who are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated. Moving in this way, we can co-create an inclusive future where impacts are measured by more than just dollar per ton metrics. So we ran 2 application rounds from October through December of 2020, and we published our outreach materials in English, Spanish, and simplified and traditional Chinese. CCGS regional coordinators contacted over 500 leaders and organizers working in fields related to composting, and this resulted in 147 applications submitted to participate in CCGS, which was 3 times more than we had originally prepared to fund. 95% of the applications received were either located in or directly benefit underserved, low-income, and social and environmental justice communities in all 6 regions targeted for support. So CAC's core leadership created comprehensive selection criteria on which they were able to score each applicant on a variety of variables and then rank according to priority need. Ultimately, CAC was able to accept 95% of applicants for an inaugural cohort of 132 project sites working with over 100 community groups. And in June of 2021, after all program participants were selected and approved by CalRecycle, CAC hosted a week-long no-cost soil stewardship training series, which became more affectionately known as Soil Summer Camp. Working alongside the CCGS advisory group, CAC core leadership developed a comprehensive 16-module curricula, and these training sessions are recorded and remain available to watch for free on YouTube and the supporting materials downloaded from our website. During Soil Summer Camp, CAC diversified the learning landscape between 3 days of lectures, 2 days of site visits, hands-on activities, and countless shared learning dialogues about our successes, failures, and experiences as human beings living on this earth. As part of their commitment to equity and accessibility, CAC prepared and served ethically and organically sourced meals and honored the sacrifices people made to be at the training by offering stipends of $100 a day to all in-person attendees. By the end of Soil Summer Camp, 98% of attendees claimed they were more confident to operate composting programs where they live, and many people expressed they were interested in hosting their own workshops back home and in collective space with one another. Now, CAC continues to conduct additional training for sites that request assistance in strengthening their technical skills and community engagement. The next step for us was to support each project in developing and focusing their visions to be able to craft site plans and budget proposals and allocate these resources for each region based on these needs. For months, we worked intimately with each team, visiting their sites, talking through ideas and possible obstacles, identifying community partnerships, and guiding folks on local compost policy. In some cases, it's required thoughtful ecological design to create spaces that were reflective of deep community feedback. And in other cases, we worked with groups to maximize compact spaces by using mixed methodologies like aerated static piles in combination with vermicomposting in order to process more material on limited lot sizes. So some of these sites are launching from scratch and just beginning to invite people into their spaces. So for the next year, we'll be tracking key performance metrics at each site. We are currently gathering and analyzing this data in 4 areas using Google Forms. Meanwhile, CAC leadership is working with software and hardware developers to beta launch a free and open source application for handheld devices that aims to make data tracking easier for site operators, community members, and volunteers alike. At 10 select sites, we'll also be piloting remote sensing technology that will measure important metrics in the decomposition projects, process such as pile moisture, temperature, oxygen levels, etc. And we'll be testing finished compost quality at every site and offering additional 12 sites pre and post test soil test analysis for us to be able to measure the effectiveness of compost end uses at the community scale. We'll also be conducting biannual compost hub health assessments to track and measure other qualitative indicators of holistic economies and the long-term sustainability of these projects. With this information, we'll be able to measure the full value of community composting initiatives in terms of building local self-reliance and demonstrate the significance of making meaningful investments to support historically underserved communities while trusting the people that live in them to steward the work. 85 part-time and place-based site operators are providing on average about 5 to 15 hours each week for compost operations and community engagement at CCGS sites. So during the site proposal and development phase, we calculated the estimated total emission reduction factors at each site based on 3 things: the expected amount of food and other green material they plan to process, carbon sequestered in all trees planted, and yards of compost produced by the end of the program. This is our estimated annual collective impacts across the state and our average program site cost to divert 1 ton of material, broken down by cost per ton for diversion alone, and then cost per ton for providing all other community benefits of the CCGS program. Oops. By 2025, California will generate approximately 26 tons of organic waste annually. To accommodate this, CalRecycle has estimated the state will need to spend $17.4 billion establishing new organic waste collection, processing, and recycling infrastructure, including building about 85 new large-scale compost facilities that are far from completion. But by investing just $1 million of a county's budget today to support launching a decentralized network of 100 community-based projects and open green spaces, which we've proven exist in each region, this is what we estimate can be accomplished in under 2 years. Yeah. If we replicate this program with just 1% of the projected state cost to implement SB 1383, which is $174 million, small-scale recovery solutions could add up to capturing about 5% of all material generated in the state annually. And for 20% less than current estimates, that's something to talk about. Though, as with any pilot program, we have faced policy challenges and legal obstacles. We've been able to overcome most of these roadblocks, but others require interagency solutions and support. First, navigating local zoning ordinances has proven challenging for a few sites in the CCGS program. This is because local codes do not yet explicitly define community composting hubs as a land use activity that is allowed by right in any zone or allowed as an accessory use to other agricultural activities. This is a national issue, not unique to us here in California, and an area where city players everywhere can most support opportunity. Second, with regards to obstacles posed by hauling franchise agreements, we affirm that our diversion services are outside the scope of almost all existing and pending contracts throughout California. So we need to put to rest the idea that community composting work infringes on corporate waste hauling contracts. And because of time, we can answer the third during questions, but I would really like to thank especially our program participants for their commitment and guidance and patience with us, without whom none of this would be possible. And if you'd like to reach out to us, please do so on ccforgreenspaces@gmail.com.
That was great. There's some really great work being done. Thank you. Do we have a question in this room? Raise your hand. Oh, there's a question right at the end. Over here. So much good work.
Hello. Thank you for your presentation. My name is Dennis. I use they, them pronouns. I'm over here to your left.
Oh, hey, Dennis.
There's this really great book called Pollution is Colonialism by Max Liboiron, who is a Métis academic in Newfoundland who has this lab called CLEAR where they work directly with the indigenous people of the area. And I'm wondering if you've worked with Kumeyaay or and if they have any say in or power in the decision-making process.
Yes, wow, Dennis, what a beautiful question. Thank you for asking it. So in our sites in what is now called San Diego, California, or ancestral Kumeyaay lands, and Payum Kuiching up in the North County. We are working with groups who are working directly with Kumeyaay folks to co-create what the design of their space will look like, decision-making structures of the space. And basically what our program is doing is we are following the lead of the community groups that we're working with, and whoever they're in partnership with are really the people that are deciding what's happening in these spaces and how it happens, how fast it happens, and things like that.
Do we have a question online? No. Does anyone else have a question in this room? I saw a hand down here in the front on the.
Hi, my name is Jack, he, him pronouns. I would love to learn more about the organics hauling exemptions that you mentioned at the end. Are there any cities that that have good examples of this that you'd recommend me looking into?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. I didn't get a chance to go over this because of time, but basically SB 1383 does not allow local jurisdictions to prevent community composters from having food material donated to their sites. So what we've been experiencing in localities is just kind of like an understandable confusion because we're in a transition, right, of who does what types of work. So we've just really been working with groups to really make clear what the expectations of 1383 are and how everybody can support, because I think we all understand that all hands are needed on deck, and it's about collaboration as opposed to competition with waste haulers. Another collective wiggle before we go into the break.
Thank you.